Hey, good morning, and as always, I thank you for deciding to join and engage with us this Sunday for the next 45 minutes to an hour as we go through our continuing talk on the 7 spiritual laws of success. And I'm truly enjoying this journey, not only for teaching you the lessons, but to also put these in place for myself. And make sure you stay to the end so that you can join in those discussions with the people around you, as well as put those action steps in place. With that being said, I am excited to say that we're going to continue our weekly shows with Monday, our Meditation Monday Kids Edition, where we're going to be engaging in a meditation called the Inner Kingdom. And you've heard this I've heard that term before in Unity, and we're going to engage with the kids. And I am excited because the meditation is actually written by a woman I know, Melissa Dormy, who actually contributed to a book on teen meditations. So again, my kids and I will be in that video on Monday. On Tuesday, our Tea Time Truth Talk will be returning. So we'll have a new engagement, a new question, and we'll be talking about some of our recent events going on. Wednesday, we join you again as we continue with our book, Alternatives, and we'll be talking about 3 topics this week. So we're going to be talking about communion, we're going to be talking about heaven, we're going to be talking about hell. So if you got the book, make sure you read those chapters beforehand. If you haven't gotten the book, I tell you to go get that as soon as possible on Amazon. Prime Day's coming up, so why not pick it up as cheaply as possible? And finally, Thursday, we're going to end the 5 principles with the 5th principle in contemplation. And again, it's the best show of all because you got nothing to do but throw on a pair of headphones or put your speakers nice and loud, close your eyes, and just listen to my voice as I share some stories, some affirmations, and some prayers. So again, if you wish to give to help out with us, go ahead and go to our website at weesc.org. At the top is a give button. And the affirmation we usually use to bless our gifts is right there when you get to that point so that you can bless your gifts and get it out there. Like last week, we talked about the art of giving and receiving and the law of giving and receiving, and we've been focusing on that for a while now. And especially with our Summer of Success, you really want to put that into action. And as you will see with my daughter singing, we have a new background that she's singing with and really enjoys. So we thank those that have contributed and helped us to buy the equipment. Finally, if you wish to help us out, and the best part about being online right now is that you can help us out at home from your bunny slippers. Just go to our Contact Us page on weesc.org. You'll see a form where you can request prayer and you can ask questions and stuff like that, or leave a testimony. I always like to hear when something impacts you. But most of all, you can hit that volunteer button and help us online. So with that, truly engage, have a good time, and on to that experience you've been waiting for.
Good morning, everyone. Please join me as we ease on down the road on this lovely Sunday service.
Come on and ease on down the road. Come on, ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be alone. Come on, ease on down the road. Come on, ease on down the road. Come on, ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be alone. Come on, ease on down the road. Pick your left foot up, bring your right foot down. Come on, let's keep moving. Don't you lose no time. You just keep on keeping on the road that you choose. Don't you give up walking 'cause you gave those shoes. Oh, he's on down the road. Come on, he's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be alone. Come on, he's on down the road. 'Cause there may be times smile.
Get up, go down. He's on down. Get up, go down. He's on down. Go down. He's on down. Get up, he's on down.
He's on down.
Go down.
He's on down. He's on down.
He's on down. Go down.
He's on down.
Get up.
I'd like to.
He's on
He's
down.
on down.
Go down.
Down the road.
Go down.
He's on down.
Go down.
The road's on down.
He's on
He's on down.
Go down.
Come on, he's on down.
Go down.
No, 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 no. I want you.
Go down.
He's on down. Get him up, get him up, get him up the road.
He's on down.
He's on down. He's on down the road.
Go down.
He's on down the road. Yeah, yeah. Woo. Na 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 na.
Thursday, June 30th, 2022. My words. Today we affirm, my words create my beautiful, bountiful life. And our message reads, my words are powerful tools for good. They are the building blocks for the good I want to establish in my life and see in the lives of others. As I give love and light to my words, they become the foundation for my experience of wholeness, peace, and prosperity. I give thanks for this awesome creative power. I call it forth as I center my thoughts and feelings on God. I infuse my thoughts and words with authority and send them into the world. I remain vigilant in keeping my thoughts and words encouraging and constructive. I use my creative power as I affirm, God is my source of infinite love and wisdom. I create my good. I am wise, energetic, joyful, and free. Our Bible verse for today is from Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I purpose, and succeed in the thing for which I sent it.
in the dark. better now, feel better now. I still remember when things were broken, but put together. The cracks were closed in. Hurry up, hurry up. There's no more waiting. There's still worth saving. Feel the light shining in the dark of night. Remember what we forgot. I know it's a long shot, but we're bringing it all back. We're bringing it all back. Feel the light shining like the stars tonight. Remember what we forgot. I know it's a long shot, but we're bringing it all back. We're bringing it all back. You and I can have it all tonight. So let's bring it back to life. Now we have another chance to fly, another chance to make it right. Feel the light shining in the dark of night. Remember what we forgot. I know it's a long shot. Feel the light shining like the stars tonight. Remember what we forgot. I know it's a long shot, but we're bringing it all back. We're bringing it all back. Here we go. Here we go. Feel better now. Feel better now. Here we go. Here we go. It's better now. Feel better now.
Hey, as I was working on this lesson this week, we start to review. Last week, we talked about the law of pure potentiality. We even defined success for ourselves. And we also talked about giving and receiving. And I came to understand that pure potentiality is truly what we talk about here in Unity as God, as our source, that it is already there, ready to go. We are already expressions of the best and purest form of who we are when we get out of our own way. We also talked about giving and receiving. Wanting love, we give love, and in return we receive what we give. We're going to build upon that this week as we talk about the law of karma and the law of least effort. I like to say it's the sowing what we reap as well as living in the flow. So what exactly is your understanding of karma, and how do we live in the flow with the law of least effort? So with that, here we are with our talk.
So let's answer those questions. We've heard the term karma many times. Many times it's derogatory. Karma's a being, you can fill in the space. You can hear that karma's going to get you. You know, and the problem is that that explanation of karma is only a small part of truly what karma is, because not only is there a whole resurrection part to it, but when the debt is paid, there's something called moksha. But that's a whole lesson in itself. But for right now, what I want to concentrate on is something that we learn in Unity through the biblical verses, what you sow, you reap. And we have to remember that when we talk about what we sow, we reap, is exactly as it says. There's no way to plant an apple seed and get a pear tree. Just like we can't go to a pear tree and wish for a watermelon. The point is we have to understand that in the law of karma, in this sense of the world, is what we are putting in. So when we put seeds of happiness behind what we do, that's where we begin to understand how the law of karma works. Some people may also call it the law of cause and effect. You know, if we come with a consciousness of hate, then we wonder why we get hate back. If we use a consciousness of love, then we get love back. But kind of like Unity talks about divine order, where we tap into that pure potentiality, which you've heard this term already, or we touch into the mind of God, as they say, and it comes down into our consciousness. But before it's expressed, it kind of goes through our subconscious or our ego self, and that old programming begins to filter it in a different way and comes out differently. So when we do make that decision or we make those choices, it affects how we receive it back. And we know that even the Bible says, as we give, so shall we receive. And as we give, it comes back tenfold. So imagine if the choices you make take away happiness or love from someone, and including yourself, if that comes back tenfold, how your day is going to go. So with that being said, the law of karma implies the action of conscious choice making. When we choose actions that bring happiness and success to others, the fruit of our karma is happiness and success. You know, one of the challenges I had learning prosperity, especially in the unity movement, and not even in the unity movement, but just anywhere when we talk about prosperity or abundance, you know, a lot of times it comes to money. And it isn't the only type of prosperity or abundance. It's only a tool. But I found that when we work on prosperity for ourselves, we tend to look at others when they come with their prosperity mindset, and we feel they're charging too much, or they're doing too much, or we don't think it's worth it because there's still that little inch of lack within us. And then we wonder why the prosperity we were experiencing is now coming back as lack. And again, this is the law of karma. We're putting out something. You know, as we say, we don't hate, we celebrate. Now, just a quick preface there is that if you find someone who comes to you and you feel that their price is a little high, whatever, you don't need to put them down. You don't need to change your consciousness. Bless them and know that you may find it somewhere else. Your heart will tell you so, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The problem is that a lot of time we make choices from our unconscious mind. And when we're talking about unconscious, we're talking about the programming that we have received from before. So we have an immediate reaction to something, or we have a fear to something, and we come from that place of pre-programming. You know, we talk about it, especially in these times where when we watch children, they don't have that programming just yet. So children of all colors and all races are out there playing with each other without even a thought of any differences other than, I want to play, I want to have happiness, I want to have love. As we grow as adults, because of that ongoing bombardment of programming, we begin to think that we are either better or we know it all. And we know the saying that says, don't let your need to be right stop you from being the best person you are. And that's from that unconscious mentality. It is from that place within ourselves that says we are better, we know better than that person, rather than we know better and we do better, as Maya Angelou always told us. And these are the things we want to be conscious of. So what are some of the best ways to use the karma law as we know it today? Well, one is always witness the choices that you're making. So when you're about to make the choice, you want to ask yourself, will this choice bring me and the people that it will affect happiness? And it doesn't even have to be people. Will the choice I make right now will bring me and nature happiness? Bring me or bring the things around me happiness? The point here is that the choices we make not only affect us all the time, but can affect others. And I can tell you, when we make choices that are not from that place of love, and I'm not talking about the emotion of love, but the power of love, as we talk about from the 12 powers taught to us by co-founder Charles Fillmore, we see that we affect the people around us. And not only does it affect them, it affects us. Because we look at the results of what happened, and we then have to make a choice of how we react to it. So, how do we make spontaneous choices like that? Now, this is where we talk about the heart. Now, Deepak Chopra actually wrote the book, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Actually told this story, and I love it, and I've said this before in my talks, but it's about a CEO in India who's probably one of the richest CEOs in India. Used to always say, when I have to make a decision, I write it down and I swallow it. Now, I'm sure it was metaphoric. He wasn't swallowing paper. But he would make the decision and then internalize it. If it felt good in his heart, then he followed through with the action. If it felt bad, as he called it, indigestion, he would not follow it. And by following that simple technique, and it may sound simple, sometimes it is hard, but just following that technique, he became one of the richest men in India. And I used to say, oh, well, that doesn't work. And I've tried it, and it works, because you do, even though your emotional reaction may be fear, there is a part of you that says, this is right, no matter how scared I am. And there's a part of you that'll sit there and go, wow, this looks great. I'm going to act this way. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And in the end, find out that it really wasn't good for you. But you knew it wasn't, because there was a different feeling you had of being unsatisfied, or probably even your stomach turning, and it wasn't butterflies. It was your body telling you that when you embody these decisions, that this wasn't the right choice for you. Okay? So, we know that the heart knows the answer, because when we talk about the heart, we're talking about that part of you that taps into that divine mind, that pure potentiality as we hear it, and all its totality is, excuse me, it's those big words on a Sunday morning. But the whole point is, it takes a total picture of what it is for you to do. You know, we've heard terms like the Akashic Records, where supposedly all knowledge in the world is already out in the universe. And when we learn to tap into it, we can pull from that knowledge. It's the same principle here. When we know that we're doing right, we've tapped into that divine intuition that tells us what it is for us to do. So we want you to also do this, is as you continue to make your choices, make sure that it's the best for you and the people around you. Now, another thing we've heard when it comes to karma is that no debt in the universe ever goes unpaid. So, the author writes, look for the seed of opportunity within every adversity, and the seed of opportunity will automatically open up to the purpose of our lives. And if your purpose in life is to teach others, then by asking, what can I learn from the experience and how I can make it useful to our fellow human beings? So once again, this is where the title of my company came from, With Every Encounter, was me finally realizing that if I stopped blaming the people in my life, when I stopped blaming myself for the things that happened and said, where is the gifts of the storm? What are the gifts that I got from all this that I labeled bad and abusive and all of that? And I looked for the lesson in it, because there's nothing I can do about the past. But I can definitely take the gifts from it. And I can turn that gifts around and give it to someone else and teach it. Now, again, this is the whole law of giving and receiving. As a teacher, I'm giving willingly, but that person has to be open to receive it. And regretfully, and I've been in that same boat, that person may not be open to receive it, but as the African proverb goes, when you give advice and it's not taken or followed, then let adversity be their teacher. We don't always have to hit rock bottom to learn a lesson. And to keep experiencing the self, which is our big self, our divine self, your spirit, we're going to silent meditation and going into that again. So again, every choice we make, we want to be present. So in the law of karma, we must be present with that choice. We must feel that choice. We ask ourselves, is it good for ourselves in happiness and love? Is it going to affect others in happiness and love? Then we've tapped in the true spirit of the law of karma. And one of the quotes here that I do love is, as long as karma is evolutionary, not destructive, not de-evolution, but evolutionary as it's growing and spreading, both you and for those around you, the fruit of karma will be happiness and success. So we now talk about the law of karma, but now we hear all of this as like, that sounds like a lot of work. So the next law just happens to be the law of least effort. But I definitely want you to make sure you're paying attention, because a lot of people will take this and say, well, least effort. I'm not going to do anything because I'm just going to sit. I'm just going to be here. Bible said be still. But as Medea said in one of her plays, nobody said be still and do nothing. You need to be still and wait for the next cause or the next thing to come to you to move forward. So the principle of do less and accumulate more sounds like a mystery to most people. So when we talk about least effort, we're not talking about not doing anything. We just know that there are things that are automatically happening. In nature, grass doesn't have to grow, it just does. We know that fish don't try to swim, it's just their nature. So this is how, when we talked about watching nature, one of our discussion points before, we said one of the action steps is to go out to see nature in its intelligence. And you will find how much we have that same thing within ourselves. So what normally is called a miracle is usually the law of least effort. Because these are things that come through the law and happen without any explanation. Everybody tries to explain it. Everybody's trying to push it. And we know that when we talk metaphysically about the miracles that our teacher Jesus taught us, we know that it is a fulfillment of a divine law. Which means he didn't force it to happen. He knew it was there. He was grateful for it already happening. He saw it happening, and it happened. The law of least effort. Okay? When we waste our energy chasing the illusion of happiness instead of enjoying happiness in the moment. Again, here we are with the being present. And notice that being present will be a theme that's going to go through every one of these laws. It's going to be a theme you're going to hear through all of Unity teachings. It's a theme you're going to hear in all teachings outside of here. In fact, one of after alternatives, I was thinking of bringing in the book for our Wednesday wisdom, The Magic of Thinking Big. And in there, you're going to hear being present throughout the whole thing, which tells you that being present doesn't just come to our teachings, but transcends all teachings and all beliefs. Because it is the point where we no longer worry from the past, are anxious for the upcoming future, but we know right now what we can do, where we are, and what laws are in effect right here, right now, that allow me to sit here and talk to you and give you this information. When we harness the power of harmony and love, we use our energetic creativity for the experience of affluence and evolution. We grow. And we talk about harmony. First thing is to accept people and situations and events as they are, not as you wish they were in the moment. You know, again, another Maya Angelou quote when she talks to, when people show you who they are, trust them. Because it is not about the negative that most people think that saying is well, that's a bad person. He's a bad person. In this present moment, he is showing you who they are in this present moment, which can change in a split second. Have someone with a broken heart needs love, and you can give them that love within that split second. Could that next moment change who that person is truthfully? Could it change you? And that's the point. We don't want to pass judgment. We want to look at that present moment, that present situation. We don't want to blame anyone, especially not ourselves. We know that right here, right now is the situation. This is what it is. We've talked about the duality of good and bad. But if we look at the situation, we just talked about how these situations we used to label as bad, as abusive, as whatever, are really lessons in disguise when we look back at them. So why would we took that lesson and change it in the present moment when we can look at the present moment and say, right now, here's a situation. What can I learn from it, and what can I do in this situation to move us in an evolutionary path forward? If your action or reaction right now to this present moment causes disharmony, the law of karma, because your ego or your little self says, this is how I'm going to act, and you're wondering why what you sowed brought back a reaping of anger or a reaping of fear, then you have to ask yourselves, was I truly in a place of happiness and success? Or was I in a place of selfishness, where we're not talking about the good selfishness like self-care and taking care of oneself, but we're talking about the selfishness that my mind says I am lacking something, so I must continue to take from the situation, from the person, so that I feel better. See, that just takes a lot of work. That's just killing an energy in me just talking about it right now. But if I can just be present in this moment right now and know that I'm doing something right, then that's where I want to be. Co-worker of mine, recently gave me props for saying something to her, and she felt better about affirmative prayer. And I tell you this not to, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I don't remember what I said. But somehow, in that present moment, I chose love and happiness in a way that it affected her, that she found success in her being. And trust me, I heard her do an affirmative prayer, and even I made the jokes like, I think I need you to teach me how to pray. And she laughed about it. But that's what it is about giving a gift from our place without any need or thought of lack. And it was the place of least effort because, again, I don't remember what I said, but what was important was that whatever it was had an impact on someone's life, and because it came out effortlessly, the law of least effort was just proven. What is it today that you can do to help in that same place? Responsibility. So we talked about not blaming ourselves, but taking responsibility. Now, what responsibility is, and this is going to throw a lot of people off because people think responsibility is taking blame. Now, I say it in a way that some people feel it's derogatory, and it truly isn't, at least not in my heart. When somebody wants to blame me for something, I have no problem taking responsibility for it because then I control the narrative. I'm going to give it to you in the nice way, the way they gave it to you, which is responsibility means the ability to have a creative response to the situation or in its, okay, sorry, no glasses on today. Responsibility means the ability to have a creative response on the situation as it is now. So we talked about being in the present moment. Presently, I should have had my glasses on, but I didn't, and that's okay. But we fixed it. But so again, I want you to hear that. So like I said, when I say it, I tend to say, I'll take blame and take responsibility because then I can control the narrative. Some people think that's harsh. The way the author says it, and I think it is truly a great way to say it, is that responsibility allows us the possibility and the ability to have a creative response to the situation as it is now. And if you do this, every upsetting situation becomes an opportunity for the creation of something new and beautiful. Every tormented or tyrant becomes your teacher. So how many of you out there right now have spent your life blaming your parents, your teachers, old friends, old relationships, old people in general? What is the term? Karens and all of this out there, where that person has a lesson for you that may make you more compassionate, more empathetic. They've given you a gift that you can see your future better. I didn't say worry about your future, but you can see your future better. You also want to practice defensiveness. Why? Because when you don't attack a situation, when you're willing to sit there, take that situation and look for the lesson rather than sit there and automatically, well, I want to be right, so I want to get into a fight with you right now. If you stop and take it in the right way. Again, attacking someone takes energy. Jim Rohn, business manager, passed away a number of years ago, used to say it best. Every time somebody accused him of something or said something was wrong or whatever, he would just literally shrug and say, that's interesting. No effort, no anything, and move forward. Why? Because that gives him a chance to look at the situation and say, okay, maybe he was right, maybe he was wrong. I don't know. But I'm not going to put forth effort to argue a fact that it's just a situation in this present moment. So the law of least effort assures us that there is always a simple, natural path to fulfillment. And when you combine acceptance, responsibility, and defenselessness, your life flows with effortless ease. Then you can release your intentions without attachment. And when that season is right, your desires will blossom into reality. And I want you to hear that one more time. When you combine acceptance, responsibility, and defensiveness into your life flows with effortless ease. Then you can release your intentions without attachment, and when the season is right, your desires will blossom into reality. And it's important. One, because our next two laws will be the law of intent and desire and the law of detachment. But what's important here is when we talk about least effort, we're not talking about Staples' easy button. We're not talking about finding an easy way out, limiting our responsibility to ourselves, and not doing the work that we need to do. What we're saying is when we do the work from a place of love, peacefulness, divine intuition, we notice we don't have to fight against something. We don't even have to fight for something. We know that life is going to flow just like a river. We're going to float down that river. We're going to continue to find obstacles. We're going to react to obstacles by moving out of the way or by making a decision. So I hope you got something out of today's lesson. Remember to stay for our discussion questions and our action steps at the end of our video today. Remember, choose your decisions wisely. Come from a place of love. Know that every decision has a consequence that will not only affect you but others. So you want to definitely come from a place of happiness and love. And you want to take the path of least effort by taking responsibility, accepting the situation as it is in the moment, and effort and defenselessness without having to attack anyone because you want to be right or they want to be right, and know that there is no right here, just the best step for you forward. As always, I love you, nothing you can do about it, and I see that best in you, and that's why we bid you with namaste at the end of everything, because I know that the divinity that I have found within myself is honoring the divinity within you. And I will definitely see you next Sunday for our next two laws.
I've often dreamed of a far off place where a hero where the crowds will cheer when they see my face, and the voice keeps